Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today it is time to take a look at the new Lumi, Protector Lumi, the Night Rose Queen, for the second anniversary part 2. She seems to be a fairly good protector who is maybe a little bit misunderstood and overly disliked because of how the developers showed her off during their live stream. So what was shown during the live stream is that she only gave 40 points every turn, which, as you see right here, is not how it is. It's 50. So people automatically assumed that the amount of points you get every turn after turn 2 was limited to how many dupes you had, and you had to have her full trait or something to get to that 50 cap. Well, that's not true. That was a dev showcase. The skills are always up in the air still, so don't believe it. Even at level 100, like as you pull Lumi, you will be able to acquire 50 points every turn as an extra cap. So that's fine. The only thing that is hampered by her dupes is her additional stat buff down here, where you get an extra 5% on the attack and defense. So have no fear. She leads the Visions of Coleus team against wind enemies, 60% extra damage, and then gives a generic magic character attack and defense by 20%, which is pretty good. And it's also kind of how, let's see, where is she? Velzard worked, if I remember correctly. No. They kind of flipped it. So Velzard just made any physical character do the extra damage, but then gave a specific force the attack and defense buff. So they did kind of flip the script on those two, which is fine, honestly. It does make her a little bit less generic as far as the damage, the extra damage, but we'll get the extra stats, which is why Cleesh still works on this team. She's not on Visions of Coleus, but she's still getting the extra attack and defense, which makes her tankier, right? And then every turn after turn 2, or from turn 2 and past, you get 50, 100, 150, 200 points every single turn. And people may think that's a hindrance because it's not technically stacking skill cap as fast as other traditional protectors, but I assure you, by the time you hit turn 8, you're gonna be fine. Her actual skill, Visions of Coleus and Octagram Demon Lord characters get a 12% permanent attack buff every single time you use her. You get the 100% chance to get the synergy damage, which is a new substat on characters. So if we go look at Sokka, we go look at her unique status down here, synergy rate, synergy power, and synergy resistance. Oh, okay. We didn't used to have resistances here. So synergy rate, natural 2%, just like pierce rate, just like guard, counterattacks, crit. This is the natural chance to have a buff activate. So when you're looking for that natural chance to crit, natural chance to pierce, or you have a unit that gives you guaranteed pierce or guaranteed crits, it is coming on this, which means that Valentine is not buffing additional power of synergy, it's buffing how often you hit synergy, which is 100%. So every orb you send is going to have that synergy buff, which factors out to a 16% attack buff as mathed out by a JP player and YouTuber. So base damage, blah, 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 blah. 0.16 right here is the extra support damage from synergy, and it pulls it from the support characters. So if we look at the team that I have built currently, Violet, the synergy will pull a 16% extra attack from Millim's 6.1k right here. At least that's how I understand it to work. So it's not overly huge to begin with, but it does leave us open for a battle character, to give us synergy power buff to go alongside the synergy rate buff right here. So I expect that to come on one of the new characters, whoever they may be, but I do expect that moving forward, and probably for other units in following metas. So, and also she does the typical thing of giving 100% extra skill points to a cap of 500. So you technically are getting two different buffs every time you use Lumi. One is permanent, one is temporary. But on the nuke turn, you're going to have however many stacks of Lumi, 8, 9, whatever, plus you'll have that extra 16% damage from your support slot, alongside all of your other buffs going on, which means you're going to hit pretty high amounts of damage. Her Valor trait is the same as every other Valor trait. It's terrible. Her actual trait, because if you do pull Lumi, you do get a free dupe of her from the bingo, so everyone who pulls Lumi will have this active. If one or more allies have 70% or lower HP, everybody gets an attack buff by 4%, and if you happen to have dupes in her, it's up to 6%. So, and then if you have her at 120, you get an extra 5% on the attack and defense, and that's fine in what it is. So let's test her out on a few different teams now. Alright, for the first team, it's going to be the meta as it stands right now, minus Cleash, because I don't have her done. But we've got Lumi, she's got Space Rammers attached to her because she's buffing Space and Magic, and Violet is Space and Magic, and she's, for now, the nuking unit. We've got the new Rimuru, the new Violet, Shuna for the orb changing and alt buff, Shizu for the weakness buff and the alt swap ability, and then Cosma for our turn 1 orb change and the attack and defense buff and debuff. So we're gonna be able to get an alt for Violet because of Rimuru's Orbs of Unity, which we'll showcase a little bit more in his own video, but we'll use it here for now. This team will not do as much damage as the Violet Showcase team because we just have less units that are buffing, and Rimuru inherently doesn't really bring damage to the team. He brings orb RNG to the team and his Unity orbs, so it won't do 1.7 million damage, but it'll probably do enough to get the job done, which is all we really care about. Alright, so turn 1, we will use Cosma's Orb Change. We'll flip him and Dark Rimuru out, since Rimuru with his Orb Conversion skill is best used in the back line. So we can bring him in for characters who have a lot of orbs. We'll bring Shuna in, and we should be looking pretty good. We won't get a double stack of Valentine, I don't think, because Violet's trait isn't maxed out, but we will get very close. And we'll get extra points on turn 2 because of Shuna and her trait. So 23k right there with the super weakness. Okay, that's definitely a hand right there. But because we brought Shuna, we can get out of it. So we'll do this and we'll do that. And we'll be looking fairly good. Plus we got 4 Violet Orbs. So, alright, so we're about to apply the synergy and the extra 12% attack buff right here. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn that on. I'll turn it on next time. Off right there. Okay, so now you can see we've got the synergy rate buff, which is this triple sword right here. So we're going to be pulling an extra percentage of damage from our support Space Milim and applying it to Violet now, plus the extra 12% attack that we got from the actual stack of Valentine. So it is just going to get higher and higher, and as our attack goes higher, the more impact that extra 16% does from Space Milim's own attack stat, because we'll just keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher at almost what I wouldn't consider double the rate, but it will be a significant increase after a good amount of time. So now we're doing 18.9k, and yeah, we've already deleted a decent chunk of her health bar. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So you know what? Actually, let's go ahead and play around a little bit. So let's do this, and then we'll bring Dark Rimuru in for Shuna, and then we'll use his conversion to the Rainbow Orbs, and this should get us the Violet EX ult on turn 3, which is pretty good. Alright, so here's Valentine's animation. Again, I'm sorry there's no sound, but I don't play it with sound on generally, so it doesn't interfere with my recording and my voice, my lovely voice that all of you just sit and listen to all day, every day. Please don't do that. Please do something else at the time. Alright, we can turn that off now. Okay. There we go. Alright, so that's 2 more stacks. That's already 36% attack right there, plus the synergy. Violet's now sitting at 19.4k attack. Looking pretty nice. Does this get her the EX ult? It definitely 100% does, plus maximum points, plus another protector and a half. So the Unity Orbs are fairly good, however it is only one time, which I believe does hurt his viability in a lot of teams. Alright, we took a counter there. Doesn't really matter though, because she's ready to go at this point. So let's get one more stack on her. Does the... No, okay. So the synergy buff looks like it gives this aura. Why... What am I missing out on here? Why do you have the big dick aura? No, wait, you don't... hold on. Everyone should have the big dick aura. What is being canceled out here? Oh, because they have alts. That's why. Is that new? Is that new? I don't think it's new. Am I crazy? I think I'm crazy. Okay. Regardless. Okay, so we'll take Violet out after we use her alt again. Or not alt, but her orb change. Now she can just exist in the back for now. And then we have... Yeah, this works out. So we're going to send this alt because we don't need her. I'm also going to bring Rimuru out because now that we've used his Rainbow Orb skill, his only existence is for orb changing orbs from the back line. So don't really need him here. If we convert that, I think we'll actually get a double stack, which is kind of what I want to do. So let's do this. And we'll just send it next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, perfect. There we go. I want more stacks. So we can bring Violet in next turn, get 2 more stacks of Valentine, send her away, call it good. Hopefully the orbs work out in our favor. Well, yeah, we can do something with that. So let's take you. Let's see. So if we take you in, we're going to take that green, and then we take you out, and that'll turn that green into an orange. So yeah, let's do this. Perfect. Take you out. Cool. And then we'll do the 2 stacks, and then we can use Shuna's next turn, or this turn after we swap Violet away. Perfect. Works out. Gotta play around with those orbs. You gotta recognize what's coming in and what's not. That's how you get to the top, tippity top of sweaty tryhards. Alright, so you come in, and then we'll use this orb change. Still haven't had to use his own steal, but it's whatever. And since we're not guaranteed to get a double stack, even if we send 6 blues, I'm not worried about sending this alt here. 117k on the synergy. Super weak point, 11,000 damage. Alright, so I need to wait till turn 8. Okay, that is fine. Does it work out for us? So we take Rimuru out. So actually, let's use his steal first. And then we can bring you in for Shizu. Perfect. Let's use the magic buff now, because we have the ability to use it and hold it in the back at full power. Get them 1 more stack of Valentine, and then we'll swap you out for Cosma, and that'll bring the 2 green, and then we'll use his orb change, and everything's fine. Everything works out just like we want it to. Okay. We will not get a full double stack here, though, which is unfortunate. So we'll get it next turn. Okay. Along with this. Okay, I mean, sure, that works out. Who doesn't have an alt? Cosma doesn't have an alt. That's fine. So let's do this. Take Cosma out. Get the stack here. And then we'll bring Shizu in. There we go. Alright. Everything works out. Everything works for us. Plus, now we've got 2 more stacks of Valentine. 39k, because it's an AoE. 15k type disadvantage. Alright, here we go. Here we are ready to nuke. It always takes us a while to get here on stacking teams. That's an interesting hand, but it doesn't matter because this is the end of the fight. And let's use the Shuna buff. Now, you could very easily bring, like, Space Shinsha instead, and you would benefit a little bit more, because it'll still be the same alt buff plus the space resistance down rather than water, but we'd be missing an orb changer, and Shuna has definitely done work for us in that department this fight. So I don't know if it's really worth losing out on that. But we have the magic buff already, so let's use the weakness buff and then the attack and defense buff from Kazuma. And we'll be looking pretty good. And we've got plenty of points. So it's like people who were concerned about not having enough of a cap by the time you hit turn 8 because you will only have a total maximum amount of points of 400. Like, we don't need it. We've got 214 points that are just going to chill here because we are smart and use the magic buff early. And even if we had to use the magic buff now, we'd still have enough points to do everything on this team. And even if we brought someone else besides Rimuru, we'd still have enough points for another buff after that. So the whole argument of Valentine doesn't stack skill cap high enough, I don't find that a very good argument as to how good she is or how bad she is. It's just, it's inconsequential. I mean, 450 is roughly somewhere around a place where you get on an okay run with any other stacking protector. And even then, you have enough points, right? 400 points is enough for 580 point buffs, and we do not have 580 point buffs on this team. And a lot of those buffs you can use early, like Violet's own skill, so you don't actually need 400 points on the final turn 8. So, no, I'm not going to listen to any arguments saying that she doesn't stack fast enough, because it's just not true. So let's go ahead and send, let's send the normal orb, send the alt, call it good. 105k and then 1.3 million. Plenty of damage for anything outside of Super Sweaty Jubilee. Plenty of damage. Perfect. Alright, let's move on to a different team comp. Alright, we're going to do something a little funky. We're going to take Valentine, lead the old Fire Violet, who is also on Visions of Coleus, so she will get the extra attack buffs. We're going to go into the Fire 2.0 Tempered Edge, which, you know, generally wants an orange-focused team. It does nerf blues after a little while, but not immediately. So we're going to see if we can make this work or not. So we've brought Fount of Wisdom Rimuru for the physical buff for Violet, free-to-play Rimuru for the blue orb conversions, Fire Shizu, Christmas Shizu for the fire buff and fire resistance down, and then Violet has her own attack, crit, pierce, and all that, and then Benimaru has the turn 1 orb change and the burn to prevent us from being locked in, binded, and poisoned. So in theory, this should work. We're missing an alt buffer, but we do have attack, crit, and pierce, element, and then physical buffs, plus the stacking buffs from Valentine herself, plus the synergy. So, I mean, on paper, this also should work, but in practice, I don't really have a whole lot of hope. But we're going to try it out anyways, because this is all about testing and science. So let's do some science. Okay, so turn 1, we do have to bring Benimaru in. We're going to bring him in for the free-to-play Rimuru, so we can hopefully maximize what the next turn is going to be. But we do want a turn 1 of full greens. That'll get us Valentine, and it'll also burn him, which will keep us from being binded and poisoned for pretty much the rest of the fight. Super weak point damage because we are fire physical, and he is weak to fire and physical. Also, it's a fun thing to see. Okay, that's sure, that works. We can just get 2 hands of greens and call it a day. Let's get Shizu out of here, and we'll just burn him again, quote unquote. We'll get the stack on. It's only going to apply to Violet. Oh, it applies to Fountain of Wisdom Rimuru. Is he on? He is on Autogram Demon Lord. Okay. Well, he'll do extra damage too. Not that we need him to do damage, but he's here. So let's do the attack buff and the crit buff from Violet now, plus the synergy buff, plus the extra stack of attack. And actually, how much damage are we going to do here alongside the burn? 3 stacks of burn. 15k already. That's pretty good. 30k right there, and the burn kicks in for 40k. All right, good hand right there. Not a lot of Violet, but it's enough to make it work. We'll take Benimaru out for free-to-play Rimuru, and then we'll use both of their orb changes, and we'll be looking fairly good. And we can get another stack. Well, we can get 2 stacks of Valentine next turn. Take Rimuru out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to lose the attack buff on Violet, but we'll have enough points to reapply it now that we're not capped like we would be if we had Toa here. 26k, still 3 stacks of burn for 17. We're just not getting a lot of Violet orbs, which actually will be okay now. So, let's put 2 stacks on. Get a lot of points. I think this is the last turn we can use blues at their maximum potential before they get nerfed, so it is important that we make the most of it here. Let's see. Let's do... how do we want to play this? How do we want to play this? We got to bring you in. We could orb change with Rimuru now and pray that it hits the Violet orb. Or bring Shizu in now. Well, I think we still have to pray. Yeah, we'll still have to pray. So we'll just pray here. So 45 points. Thank you. And then we'll swap Shizu out. And then we'll swap you out. And then we should have enough to use both of those. So we could steal these 2 and then change the green. Perfect. And this should get us Violet's alt, these 2 blues right here. It does leave our Water Reamer up front, but now that the blues are going to be nerfed, it doesn't really matter. And we've got a lot of points now. So we will be able to nuke. This turn, maybe? Will we be able to nuke this turn? It's only 80 plus the 55, plus the other buffs from... Yeah, so there's the nerf right there. Do we have enough? 1, 2, plus 80, plus 15, plus 55. So that's 80, so that's 135, 150. No, we are just shy. Okay, so... The blues are still getting us decent skill points, so that's something. You know what? Let's do this. Take you out. The potential exists for someone to die here, and it's quite unfortunate. But I think we'll be okay. Think being the key word. Oh, I forgot to use that stat. Alright, it is what it is. Alright, hopefully he doesn't hit Fount of Wisdom Rimuru. If he does, well then I'm going to feel real bad about it. 15k on the synergy, because he still had it left over. Please don't hit Fount of Wisdom Rimuru. Please don't hit Fount of Wisdom Rimuru. Yeah, hit Fount of Wisdom Rimuru. You bitch. Alright, we are back turn 5, so a little bit earlier, but we are ready to nuke. We have everything. We have the buffs still already on Violet. We also have a Shizu ult as well, and that works out fairly well. So let's bring you in for free-to-play Rimuru, and then let's bring Shizu in for Benimaru, and we'll just use his orange buff as well for funsies, because we've got enough points to do it. We need 135, and we've got 184, so no harm in it. Okay, so we'll get one more stack of Valentine. We haven't gotten that many stacks, but also this isn't really like a 8-turn stacking stage to begin with. So we've got the Pierce Power, we've got the attack buff, we've got the crit and Pierce rate, we've got the physical buff, we've got the fire attack, plus the fire resistance down, plus the synergy buff, plus the extra stacks of attack that we've acquired. So Violet's at 19, almost 20k attack right now, with another 20% right here, guaranteed Pierce, guaranteed crit, Pierce Power. So, I mean, we're looking pretty good, and Clayman only has 336k left. So we'll send Shizu first, because I think increases, lowers pierce resistance. Okay. She did something regarding pierce. Then we'll send the one violet orb, and then we'll send her actual ult. And this should kill. Shizu, I don't really care. 51k, okay, whatever. Violet, 14k on the orb? That's less than I thought it would be. How much does her ult do here? Nihilistic Vanish. 290. Okay, I mean, that's... I think that's pretty equivalent, if not a little bit higher, than what we would be doing if we brought, like, my typical fire team with, you know, fire guy giving ult and the crit resistance down and everything like that. So it can work, and, you know, we didn't really need any blues past turn 4, which is where the blue nerf happens. So, a fairly useful showing right there. Let's try one more team for today. Alright, the last team, we're going to be using Valentine with the World of Fantasy Milim, who is on Octagram Demon Lord, so she will be getting the stats from, well, she'll be getting the 12% attack buff from Valentine. And so we built a team to kind of go into this. We don't have Water Hinata here to seal, so we brought Fire Milim to guarantee the crit and seal the crit resistance against Shuna, which then enables Milim to, you know, hit the crit damage. It's just that this team isn't really loaded on low-cost skills, so we probably won't be able to stack that much crit damage on Milim's own buff. But I'm hoping that with, you know, the crit, the attack, the crit damage, the alt buff, the physical buff, and whatever we get from Valentine will be enough to overcome that slight power nerf, I guess, is how we'll call that. Let's try it out. Alright, I think we're going to have to forego some of the RNG, and we're just gonna run with this. Let's bring you in, and we're just going to send these greens and pray that next turn we can get a decent hand of blues and get a double protector there. Perfect! That works just fine. Alright, so here's... yeah, sure, one skill right here. So that's a little bit of an extra buff to Milim, and then we'll take Shuna out, and we'll just have a handful of Milim, everyone's favorite. And we'll move on as if nothing has ever happened. 4,000 damage. Is that super weak point? Is she weak to physical? On a... oh. Yeah, sure, that works, I guess. Everybody's going to get the buff here, because I'm fairly certain the Fire Milim is also on it. Yeah, alright, so everybody is going to get the attack buff here. Well, fine, that works. Alright, so we're not gaining anything off of this, so you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and use this super cheap points, because it's she stacks until turn 4, so that's 2 more skills used. Not that we needed them for anything, but I do want, you know, something out of it. Synergy buff, 3,700. How much does Milim do here? 16.3? Decent damage that we're doing. Okay. We left her in. Damn it. Now we gotta leave her in. I don't think we're gonna get an EX ult for her either. What do we do here? What do we do here? I think we just send everything. I think we just send everything. And then pray we get enough for another ult for Milim by the time that attack nerf wears off. And 20k right there. Okay, that's fine. We have another stack plus 172 points. So we can get our 3rd stack of Valentine here. Okay, we have jokes. Well, we can definitely get her ult. It's not... I don't want her ult, though, is the thing. So we're just going to have to swap out Fire Milim, because she's taking a little bit too much damage now for you. And then we can use both of your orb changes and call it good. So we're outside now of the turn 4 stacking. So whatever Milim's crit damage is where it's going to sit. So 34% crit damage. Not the highest thing in the world, but it is just additional. So we just need to wait for this debuff to wear off, get her ult. The EX ult, we don't need. Not at this point. Not this kind of weak stage. Okay, that works out fairly well. Alright, Reamer took that like a champ. Cool. Oh, cheeky counter coming back at you. Okay. And what do we look like? Perfect. So we can bring you in for Fount of Wisdom Rimuru. Yeah. And then use that and that. Convert, convert. We need a bit more Millimorb, though. That's the only unfortunate thing. Because we're going to need one more after this. We're not going to be able to get her ult just from the one orb here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please don't hit Fire Milim too hard. We kind of need her. Alright, 5,000. And now we're doing... Oh, we pierced. Whoops. Okay, that's perfect right there. Okay, so let's get this Reamer in for Fire Milim. Next turn we will nuke, and this will be enough to get us the ult. So we're going to look really good here. I think this is a good place to end on this showcase. Full hand of blues. We'll get 3 more stacks out of this, so another 36% attack. The attack nerf is leaving next turn, perfect. And then we'll be able to, I believe, a full buff here. Because 80, 25, 55, 50, yeah, perfect. We will definitely have enough points. Yeah, 400 right there. Oh, look, 400 points. Who's freaking out about 400 points on the nuke turn? Oh god, we don't have enough. Oh, wait. We'll be fine. Okay. So, let's Fizzle buff, Alt buff, attack and crit damage buff. We'll bring Fire Milim in and seal her crit. And then we'll be looking pretty good. Alright, yeah, we have 189 points left over. I shall hear no arguments, no complaints over not stacking enough. Alright, and so what are we up to now? 25.6k attack, 65% physical attack, 34% crit damage, plus the synergy, plus the ult, plus the water resistance and physical resistance down. Shuna is going to go bye-bye, but I want to see how hard we hit first, and then we'll send it. 46k, 389. Okay, it's not the most damage. It wasn't an EX ult, though. We have definitely seen higher numbers, but again, it doesn't really matter, because we killed. We won. So Valentine, I think, is a good protector. She may be a little limited because the Visions of Coleus team is full of older units plus this new meta, but I'm fairly certain the other 2 units we're going to get in this meta will be very good damage supports or pure DPS units. We'll just have to wait and see next week. But let me know what you guys think about this new Lumi. I think she's pretty good. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.